So let me go ahead and join the call again. Hey guys, sorry about that.
There he is.
Sorry, the internet just crapped out.
Did you pee on the outlet again?
Oh, man.
Well, I tried not to, but the wind. But while I was down, because this thing also records too, so it didn't miss anything.
Gotcha.
At least for the podcast part. One thing I want to ask you is about the last call, that song. Because man, that thing, that
Are you gonna get the stream going again?
it should restart. It should start back pretty soon. I mean, it hasn't stopped. I mean, it should start again. Anyway,
Okay.
So yeah, tell me about the last call, and I'll make sure the stream's up too.
So the song "Last Call" was one that I wrote. You talk about this dark place. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I relate it to the medication and the alcohol because that's where a lot of other people find it, and that's where I've found that a lot of people can relate when I speak about it. But truthfully, if you're haunted with loneliness, depression, that kind of stuff, or PTSD, whatever you want to call it, it's just life, right? I think everybody gets into a slump every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was kind of looking at the idea of doing a song for law enforcement, and it was one of those ideas that kind of came up, be like, okay, here's a guy on a radio, and I wanted the song to come from that place. But what spurred that on was a friend of mine who was a Philadelphia police. He was a cop from Philly, but he was also a Marine. So he was also a Marine. One of his friends, I think he was a corporal, but his name was Bradley Fox, who was also a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
He had been ambushed. He had chased a guy down into a ravine on foot, and the guy held up somewhere near some railroad tracks or a bridge or something. And then as soon as the cop came down, as soon as Brad came down, he shot him. He ambushed him. And then he ran off. So, yeah. So we lost him. We lost Fox. He was a father too, and a 9-year Marine. And I don't know how long he served on the force, but anyway, long story short, good guy, patriot, good cop, gunned down for doing his job by some scuzzbag. So when I heard that, he had sent me a portion of what they call the final call, the last call that they do over the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when the dispatcher calls the badge number. You guys heard that before?
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the dispatcher will call the badge number. So it'll be like badge 473. This is dispatch. And then nobody answers. Well, I hadn't heard one of these. In the military, what they do is a roll call. They'll call down 5 guys' names or 3 guys' names or however many guys, and then all of a sudden they'll call somebody who has perished or that we lost, and then that person doesn't answer, and they call that name 3 times. And very similar to that, they do the same thing over the radio for law enforcement. Well, I'd never heard one for law enforcement. So this is the first time I had heard that go down, and after I realized what was going on, and after I heard the dispatcher breaking down, absolutely crushed for the last time she read the badge number, realizing, this was a final call over the radio as a radio memorial to everybody out there listening. Badge number 972 or whatever it was, gave his last, breath on the line of duty during this day. You were 10. I can't remember the 10 code. You're 10-7. We have it from here. Rest easy, brother. Something along those lines. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, long story short, first time I've ever heard. Well, I was busted up. I was sitting there bawling, listening to it, watching it on my phone. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's the most horrible, most heartbreaking thing I've ever heard. And I immediately went downstairs. I was like, what would that guy say for each one of those calls? If he could be on the radio and she's calling his badge number, what would he say? Well, I kind of wrote it down. It's, tell my wife I love her.
Yeah.
That we tried to make it right, and we had a good go at it, kind of thing. And, tell my kids to, fight for me. Don't ever forget me, and I'll always be here. And tell my brothers and sisters that wear that uniform and, that hold that thin blue line, that I'm sorry that I let you down, but, hold your head high and keep holding that thin blue line. And that's the idea behind the song. And it's a tough, tough song to get through.
Powerful lyrics, man. Powerful
Yeah.
lyrics. I mean, because I'm a father, I resonated with it. I connected with it. I mean, I had to stop what I was doing when I was listening and just soaking in.
Well, it's real, right? It's real.
Yeah,
It's
very real.
If you're a human and still have some human elements left inside of you, if that song doesn't make you react, then you don't have a soul. You should have some empathy there, and that's what I feel is missing in our society today. We're forgetting that those men and women in uniform that wear that badge every day, they have families, they're coaches,
They do.
They're mothers and fathers and daughters and sons.
And talking about the music again, I mean, you've toured a lot of places, right?
Yep.
What is your favorite place?
Favorite venue, or I mean, all over the country is. I love Texas because just the people down there are just they're always amped up about the patriotic stuff. I mean, Texas is just fun, right?
Yeah.
I just enjoy, like I said, I enjoy Texas. I just did Alaska last week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'd never been and seen prettier water, and I think that you think about where water comes from. This is glacial water.
Yeah.
That is just actually, spring-fed water. I mean, you could bend down in any river, any creek for the most part, and just pick up a mouthful and scoop it up and drink it.
Is that
Watching
safe?
salmon. Yeah. I mean, absolutely, dude. It's all spring-fed. It's so cold, and it's beautiful. And, to know that there are still places like that, even though it's not lower 48 beautiful, that is still a part of this world. Was absolutely just breathtaking. And I got a bunch of people were calling me a hippie because of my post I did about it. I said, we got to save these fisheries. We got to save these resources. I know we all want our own energy. We don't want to rely on anybody else, and we want to just go get it. And I understand all that. I'm a capitalist as well, but not to forsake the natural resources that have taken billions of years to get that pure.
Yeah.
Why we would go in there and just rip and tear to get some gold just seems really stupid and juvenile to me.
It does. And short-sighted, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any of that gold, so they can't either.
And the thing is like the brutality of what they do to the land. It's not really about what they do to the land. It's how much oil and grease and like acid and things like that ends up leaking into the fisheries that are downstream from those sites. So those places that have those D10 dozers running day in and day out, and all that gas and oil and stuff that's dripping, and all the acid they use to wash some of these stones and rock, all this stuff just ends up just pouring downstream, and it's miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away that ends up losing, a fishery that has taken 1 billion years to actually become one of the greatest fisheries in Alaska. And here we are, for our $200 million worth of gold, we're going to go just destroy 200 billion years of just amazing beauty in nature. And it just that stuff drives me insane.
Man, that's one place I definitely need to check out. Alaska.
Yeah, you got to go. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, man, woman, or child, everybody needs to see that pure nature in its purest form. It's absolutely breathtaking.
Any interesting road stories?
Oh, we got lots of road stories, man.
How do you not?
Right.
So I woke up. I woke up in midair. I woke up in midair in the back of a 15-passenger van because I thought I could trust my driver. Turns out it was in the fog, and in a 15-passenger van with a bunch of gear, you're not thinking anybody's going to do anything crazy. But this guy decided he was going to hook a quick right over a 10-foot ravine and throw our van just down into the gully. And I woke up like smashed up against the ceiling. It was like being in a dryer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you could shrink me up and make me a dryer sheet, that's what I look like in this van. So yeah, I survived. I did. But yeah, there's those kinds of road stories. Just
is the accident. Did you fire the driver? Like what happened there? It was scalded.
I don't know. I can't remember all what happened. I think the manager was like, I'll just say I was driving kind of thing to take the heat off of him because we didn't want him getting thrown in jail.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. Good question. Why?
He seemed like an easygoing guy, though. I mean, That's.
Yeah,
I
but
guess
still,
I imagine it takes a lot to piss you off.
I'm a long fuse. I've been told I'm a long fuse, but it's a powder keg at the end. That's the one you don't ever want to get to that last sparkle, that last crackle.
Have you always been like that, or is that part of like the military background?
No. Well, kinda. It depends. It depends how you look at it. I had an older brother, so I was tested pretty much on a daily basis. But yeah, I mean, I am one of those people. I'm kind of a pacifist until I can't be a pacifist anymore. You know what I mean? Until there's absolutely no other option, and then I don't see any other options other than how do I get rid of that dark man in my life that's staring down in my face. You know what I mean?
The Hat Man.
It's just one of those things. Yeah. How do you get rid of the Hat Man? Right. So you grab a hold on your faith and you rage.
I know we're definitely questioning about the Hat Man earlier, but one thing with my line of work, what I do is I talk with a lot of families. They're let's say dealing with meth problems and other drug problems and stuff like that. But sometimes I want to get into the conversations about what's going on with them. They'll say they see like shadow people. Like shadow people. What do you mean shadow people?
Yeah.
I've heard of that too.
It seems to be very common. People that like stay up for prolonged periods are also on meth. Shadow people.
It's hard to do without it.
Yeah, right. Have you seen any shadow people?
I don't think I ever have. I mean, like the closest thing that I've seen to shadow people was in that movie Ghost, where there's like where the guy that killed him like ends up dying. Yeah, that where he ends up getting hit by the car or whatever, and those things come out of the shadow. Like I can remember watching that as a kid, freaking losing my mind. That scared the death out of me. Yeah, for real. So if that's what the shadow people are, you can keep them. I don't want anything to do with it.
All right.
The Hat Man is enough for me. That is absolutely enough. And
when's the last time you saw Hat Man?
I've only seen him twice, and the first time was in New York.
Okay.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
And the second time was at home.
Oh man, he's coming to your house now.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Does your wife know about that?
No, she doesn't. I never told her. And Heidi, when I spoke, I actually ended up calling Heidi Hollis about it, and I was just like, "Listen, what is the deal?" And she's like, "Well, there's usually they don't usually come after people. It's usually there's something on the cusp or on the horizon, and they want to reinvoke fear, or he wants to reinvoke fear into you so that you lose your faith in moving forward, and you lose your bravado to go down a path most people would not go down. So that's what she believes is the root cause, is to give you anxiety and faithlessness, godlessness, basically, so that you don't so if you're rolling dice or in a sketchy situation in your life or with your family or whatever it is, and this is one of my mantras, and I have a whole clothing line with mantras, but one of my mantras is stay the course, finish the fight, never surrender. Okay. And that is one of the things that I grasp onto. Like every time that I'm ever questioning, I always say that those words were given to me in faith. Hold on to those words, trust in, and that the rest of the heavy lifting, I say, will be taken care of by the big guy upstairs.
Okay. Now, I'm taking a look at the Hat Man book by Heidi Hollis. I noticed that it is listed under Christian literature. Is this a Christian thing, the Hat Man?
I think it goes back into like the old. I'm telling you, this thing's been around forever. So I don't know if it's a Christian thing. I don't know enough about it. I should probably read the book, honestly.
Okay.
I thought Heidi was going to send me one. So
well, it would have to go back like to when brimmed hats were invented.
Yeah, Salem witch stuff, right?
Yeah, go back there. Yeah, I'll probably get a copy from Haiti. Maybe she'll send one to us. I definitely want to talk to her, get her on the show. But
she's cool.
So yeah, faith definitely seems to play a part in your music and you as a person. Want to talk about that?
Well, I just think, I think unabashed, absolute 100% faith is truly the only possible way to find real freedom. in your life, in any human life, if you can find and grasp onto something you truly love, that you love to do, that you know is an actually positive thing. And I believe my music is a positive thing. I believe that it will resonate long after I'm gone. I pray it does. But I believe if you find that, you find God's gift for you, or the universe's gift or spirit animal inside of you, whether it's to go out and hunt, or to teach kids how to hunt or fish, or whatever your natural calling is. And I think everybody has that natural calling, whether it's to be an artist, or you're using your art and you're using your gift to edify a higher power, or are you using it to tear down and do the devil's work? You have your choice. Every person is given a gift, and every person has a choice to do whichever side they want. I mean, I could go out and Marilyn Manson my music. I could go out and scream about darkness and rage and all these just things that I know I could do that. Absolutely. I have sung songs that are absolutely about anger and hate. And then I realized, you know what?
You definitely would have the voice for it. I mean,
easily. But the thing is, what I found more of, there's more power and conviction in doing, in my opinion, God's work and going forward in faith, because I don't have to question anything if I know what I'm doing is right by him. And that is the one thing that has continued me down my path, is to know it doesn't matter how far down I go, I'm never going to stop. I'm going to stay the course, finish the fight, never surrender. I'm going to do it with him on my shoulder. And I just believe, I'm a firm believer that if you really want to see success in your life, you really want true freedom, yes, hard work is going to play a part of it. But having that faith to continue and not quit, just say no to quitting, is just quitting. Yeah, absolutely, is the most important part. And
okay, so what about Scientology? Because I'm thinking about joining.
I don't even know. I know nothing. I don't know anything about that. Well, I do know something about that. Do you guys know about adrenochroming?
Yes.
I believe that there's something to do with adrenochroming in the Scientology world, because I just think it's too weird.
It is really weird.
Have you ever seen the Church of Scientology going down around DC?
I have not.
Okay, look it up, dude. It looks like Disney World. It's huge. It looks like Superman's castle. It is crazy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. So okay, I don't know enough about Scientology to speak on it.
So if there's this cult that wants me to join them, should I? Is that a higher power, or should I? Is that gonna be like the devil trying to trick me?
Listen. I would never join anything that is not asking you to do what you love to do for the right reasons. That's it. In my opinion, every church out there is to teach you one thing, but none of them want to give you the absolute secret. And that secret is do what you love, give everything in the world, make sure you love it enough to give everything in the world but your family away for it and those you love. If you're willing to do that, if you love it that much, you're willing to go down that rabbit hole that far, that you would give every possession, every worldly possession that you possibly own, in order to do that every single day, to wake up and do it every single day. That's the key. That's the ticket right there.
Mm-hmm.
And have the faith to move forward every day, knowing that, yep, I got to sell my car. It doesn't matter. You get to do what you love today. And I'm not talking about wake up and sit in a bar and drink beer, because anybody that really likes to drink beer, I tell you what, I'm gonna sell my car and go sit down at Charlie's and drink beer.
Yep,
because that's an easy one.
Dave Bray said I can.
But that's the key. That's the key to every. That's exactly what every faith wants you to do. Every true believer in every system wants you. But none of us have the guts to truly go down that road. Very few. Very few.
Well, I definitely admired that devotion right there. That's good. I mean, for some people, it works for them. You know, it seems to be working for you as well.
Oh, I can't not let it work for me. There's a difference. But I would like, I look around and I have been truly, truly blessed, and there's no other excuses or other ways to describe it unless I was on the right path, that somebody, and the things that have happened to me and the people that have come into my life to help and show me guidance and guide me in a certain direction or offer for help with things. There's no possible way that those things would have ever come to me if I was not doing what I love to do and doing it to edify a higher power.
I mean, do you ever encounter moments or situations where you question your faith, where you question, where you have your doubts?
Yeah, I think everybody does. If you don't, you're not a human. But you got to get through those moments. I mean, those are the moments right there, the ones where you're looking at a stack of bills, going, "This is impossible. This will never happen." And then for some reason, some way, somehow, faith has yet to lead me down. It never has ever let me down. But I got to be willing to ride that faith to the cusp, all the way to the edge. It's just like Indiana Jones looking over that ledge. He doesn't realize there's another ledge there, right? He doesn't realize it's there until you take the leap of faith. And too many of us are too afraid to take it. You guys are taking it right now. You don't even know. You got this podcast going. Mm-hmm. This thing is gonna move forward for you if you continue down the right road and just do a little bit.
Whoa.
Just a little bit.
Because if that's the case, then we better pull the plug.
But if you guys, it's something you guys obviously love to do. So why stop?
Well, I don't ever think about stopping. Shit. 5 years from now, would I still be doing this? Probably. Be older and wiser, hopefully.
Older.
Well, that's there, right there. You have to. I'm a firm believer that you got to envision yourself at your final destination too. So I've already come to terms that I want to be a musician that's on stage looking like Gandalf, and people going, "Man, that guy, that old, decrepit ass dude just rocked for 3.5, 4 hours and did not stop and take a sip of water. He just killed it for 4 hours. How did he do that? I want to be that guy." So that's
hey. I saw a couple of years ago, I saw Gladys Knight perform, and she's like, I don't know, almost 80 at the time, right? And she looked good. I was in like the second row. She looked good, and she was having a blast.
That's it, man.
You could tell. Yeah, you could tell she was out there because she was having a good time.
That's it. Same with Charlie Daniels, man. I was able to sit backstage and watch Charlie Daniels perform from the wings, and a friend of mine, Scooter Brown, was opening up for him, and he asked if I wanted to go backstage and meet him, and I did. And I was able to sit and watch Charlie, a guy who, man, if you've never, here's another book you got to listen to, is Never Look at the Empty Seat. It's Charlie Daniels audiobook, great audiobook. Mm-hmm. And if you've ever heard Charlie Daniels tell a story, it's the best. But your internal monologue for the rest of the day will change to Charlie Daniels. Maybe I should grab some milk out of the fridge. But yeah, long story short,
there are worse things.
Yeah, man. I got to listen to that audiobook, and then I got to see this guy who's getting up there in years, but still loves his music, loves what he does, and gets out there and just kills it. And I'm like, there it is. That's me. I don't care how I get there. I don't care how long it takes to get there. I just want that. I just want that moment where everybody gets up and says, thank you, and claps their hands, and that's it. I want everybody to have a good time.
Man, and that's how you know you have it. I mean, you're working for something you really want, something that's fun for you, that you enjoy, and it's a way of life for you.
Absolutely. And my kids are a part of it now. You know what I mean? So we started the clothing, which is called Brave Day. Dave Bray, Brave Day. See what I did there? So we started we started Brave Day, the USA, which is the clothing line. So
it rhymes.
Again, it's so catchy. It's unique, right?
Yeah.
So Brave Day USA is the clothing and the t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. And my kids are involved with that. They help me with the shipping. They help me with bagging and sorting t-shirts, and they're a part of this. You know what I mean? I don't have to go to work every day and say goodbye to my kids. I mean, yes, there's times where I got to go on the road, but they're a part of my life. They're a part of the stories I tell. They're a part of all this. My wife, she does all the booking. She does all the outreach. She does the PR. We both do the social media. You know what I mean? She was the one who connected with you guys to book this. So it's like, we have this system that works for us, but and that's a family right there. Mm-hmm. We're all in, you know what I mean? We are all in. We don't have a choice. And it's a lot of pressure on me, but it's also a lot of pressure on my wife. When we don't get the inquiries or the bookings that we need to get for that month, we got to step up our online t-shirt sales game. That's just all there is to it, you know? So there's, we're hustling, we're working hard. And, it's for me to step back and be jealous of other musicians who have they can say they're playing a show and have, 100,000 people show up. Boy, that'd be nice, right? It'd be nice to be the Rolling Stones. Just say you're playing somewhere and kill it, right? But I'm not there yet. But I'm not. I got. We all.
Does it matter if you get there?
No, it doesn't. I already feel like I've won this game because every day I wake up, I'm excited about being a part of it. I'm excited about what I can create that day. I'm excited about the possibilities of a new song. And being able to do something that I love, and my family gets to be a part of it.
And maybe this biased because of what's around me, but it being in Texas, but is country music still on the, I guess, rising up? It's still in demand. I mean, it seems like it's increasing, right? More and more people.
Country music and storytelling and music will always be, I think, the original. I think country is about as close to, folk music. And I feel like and again, I've been approached by labels to say, what are you? Are you rock? Are you metal? I'm like, no. Well, are you country? Are you pop? I'm like, no. Well, are you folk? Are you, what are you? I was like, well, I don't know. I'm like,
I'll say that too. It's hard to classify because when I was listening to some of your tracks, I'm like, okay, I get a little bit of, you could kind of say Christian at one point, kind of gospel at one point, because you kind of have that, the Amazing Grace and songs like that. But the guitar gets a little too heavy for that stuff at points. I'm like,
right,
that guy rocks out.
And I go, I've gone to those prayer worship places and I've listened to Christian rock radio and I don't mind it. But again, it all sounds like pop country to me. And to me, I like to say that I sing from a real place and I try to write from a real place. And I don't think a lot of artists are out there doing what I do. And I think that's why people look at me and say, well, we can't put you out there as a country artist. I said, yeah, you can. Well, we can't put you out there as a rock artist. I was like, I just did, 5 dates with Ted Nugent. We rocked the house. Trust me, you can put me out there as a rock artist. So it's kind of classic.
Have you gone hunting with Ted Nugent? Have you gone hunting?
No, but no. Something tells me hunting with Ted Nugent would be a pretty interesting endeavor. I'll do that, man.
Anything, I think, with Ted Nugent would be interesting.
Dude, you should hit up with him. He could take you on a helicopter ride, like with you on the helicopter gunning down wild hogs. He likes to do that thing.
I got a story for you. So I actually hunted Ted Nugent. Nobody knows this, but I've told the story a couple times. He was at the NRA. It was a annual meeting. Was it SHOT Show or annual meeting? I can't remember which one. And it was in St. Louis, I think. Anyway, he was signing autographs and the line was out the door. And so behind where he was signing autographs, they had rope and stanchion and there's backdrops for people to take pictures and all that stuff. But the door that was the closest exit that he could possibly take was out through a theater door. And I figured this out. So as I was sitting outside, I'm trying to figure out how he's going to exit the building. So, as any great hunter would, you need to flush your prey. So I wanted to meet him because I wanted to give him one of my CDs. And so I was standing right by there was 2 SUVs and a tour bus outside of that area. And I'm like, well, that's obviously Ted's, that's his escape MO. Right. He's gonna use that. That's his mode of exit. So I was like, all right, well, I got to find him somewhere in between there. So what I didn't see was around these vehicles was another perimeter of basically security guys with plain clothes. But these guys look like presidential security guys. They didn't look like standard issue security guys. These guys look like some heavy hitters, right? So I'm like, okay. So I went there and I was standing there with 4 CDs and waiting. And this guy's like, you need to keep moving. I was just like, well, I want to wait for Ted. And he's like, yeah, exactly. Keep moving. I was like, shoot, man. I was like, so I was like, man, I thought I had him. You know what I mean? I thought I had him. So I went outside of this perimeter, and I picked a spot where none of the guys in that outer perimeter of security could see me. And as Ted, the second I could see Ted where he was signing autographs, and the second I saw him stand up, I moved into a secondary position because all of the external perimeter started closing in on the exit where he was going to leave from.
Yeah.
So again, hunting Ted Nugent. I should write a book. But long story short is I did the old Lost guy with the map, because they give you like So they give you like this fold out map, right? That you're that when you're walking around SHOT Show that has all the different booths. So I put this map up to my face and I walk, and I know exactly where he is. I can see him out of the corner of my eyes. I'm walking, peeking around this map, and I basically come chest to chest with Ted Nugent. I'm walking kind of quick. So I must not have seemed like a threat with the map up, but then I popped my head up. I was like, what's going on, man? And Ted's like, hey, man, what's going on? I was like, dude, I want to give you one of my CDs. And everybody's like, these guys are like, you need to get back. He's like, dude, just give the guy a chance. What do you want to say, man? I said, dude, Ted, I love your stuff, man. I'm a fan from the White Buffalo, the whole deal. I start giving them rundown. I was like, finally, I just want to share with you. There's a song on here called Right to Bear was one of the songs I helped write. I was like, listen to this tune. I think you're going to love it. He's like, all right, man. So I tried to give him a stack of CDs, and he goes, just give me one, dog. I was like, all right, man. So that was it. And that's how I hunted Ted Nugent.
Now, must have paid off.
Do you know if you listen to it?
You need the canned applause there. So I don't know if he listened to it. I don't know if he listened to that record, but I know he heard the Star Spangled Banner that I wrote later on down the road.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. And I think I know what the answer is. You got a favorite superhero?
Does the Crow count? He's not like a Marvel or DC guy, but
I guess he does count. Yeah, I guess.
Like the Crow was so cool but the movie was almost hokey, dude. But I loved that guy because Brandon Lee, right? Bruce Lee's legacy on film. The story behind him, kind of getting gunned down on set, which was just absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of sort of being this, vengeful guy that's got a bird. I don't know. It was cool. I just like the Crow. The Crow was always one of my favorite. I used to be that guy for Halloween, so he was always my favorite.
How did they even have live rounds on the set?
Yeah, dude. It was an assassination. We all know that.
That was
secondary.
Yeah, that was messed up.
If you got to go to Marvel Universe, you got to love Tony Stark and Iron Man just because his
Jesse loses.
Man, I lost that bet. I was thinking Captain America. I was like, this guy's gonna say Captain America. He's gonna say Captain America.
Nah, well, like I like the Batman, but not there's a couple Batmans I don't like, but the one with the Batman Returns and the Dark Knight and all that, like Heath Ledger stuff, that was always cool for me. I like those Batmans. All the other Batmans are a little cheesy. But yeah, so Batman's cool because he's real. The Crow's kind of real. Everybody else is just sort of Stan Lee maked up. You know what I mean? But
so Spider-Man, no good.
Yeah, he's too. Yeah, he still seems weak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Batman can beat him up.
Is he bulletproof? Like Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah. But Batman kind of is. I mean, not really, but
Spider-Man seems kind of whiny to me.
Who? Batman's whiny?
No, Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man is whiny. I mean, come on.
I like the guys that really don't have superpowers that just like Tony Stark makes the best out of his brains, and I thought that was cool. Batman, kind of same deal. I actually wrote a thing because I know you have like a lot of comic writers on here that might listen, but like a long time ago, I wrote a story about Jack, which was actually, and now I hear later on like this is already done, but it was actually that Alfred was dating one of the other helps back in Wayne Manor, and Alfred had a child outside with one of the help ladies, and then she ended up having a child named Jack, and Jack was always hanging around. He would always hang around with like Bruce Wayne as a childhood friend, and then Jack would end up becoming the Joker anyway. Long story short, in my
fan fiction.
Yeah, fan fiction. Yeah, kind of deal. Because and then I had the whole school routine all mapped out where all the other characters and bad guys were always out there, and they would always pick on Jack. And then Bruce would always come in and have to save Jack, because he was always the one that was like the big tougher, like middle-aged kid and the teenage kid, early teens. So like Bruce would always be this sort of guy that was always bailing Jack. Come on, Jack, stay out of trouble, stay away from these guys, kind of thing. But after a long period of time, they ended up drawing him into the dark side kind of feel, and that was going to bring all the other characters together. But yeah, I'm kind of a nerd about the Batman stuff as well. Sorry, I apologize.
Hey, it's no problem.
More about the Joker. I think the Joker is a lot more fascinating than Batman. I don't think anybody's really cracked that shell right yet.
No?
I mean, Heath Ledger did. Well, Heath Ledger was a pretty good Joker.
Yeah, Heath did get close. He was good.
Yeah, he really did steal the show.
Yeah, I mean, he played a little too hard, right? I mean, that was the problem.
Still, the thing is, Joker really doesn't have a solid storyline. He doesn't have a good backstory, does he? I mean, there's like 4 different backstories to the Joker.
They have a new Joker movie coming out, right, with Joaquin Phoenix. Is that already out?
That's gonna kill. I'll watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You got a favorite horror movie?
Horror movie. I like the zombie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Rob Zombie stuff.
Oh,
I got a Rob Zombie. Yeah. I got a Rob Zombie story if you want to hear that.
Oh, sure. What's a Rob Zombie story?
Yeah.
So I played at the Buffalo Chip at Sturgis, and we're backstage and we're eating and sitting down, and I didn't recognize him, but there he is, all 5'2" of him is Rob Zombie. I mean, he's sitting down at a picnic table. And I kind of sat not all directly across from him, like sat my tray down across from him, but I sat on the other side of the picnic table. And I just kind of sat there, and I kind of gave him, I used to do this thing in church with like old ladies that I would sit and stare at them until they looked at me and I'd look away.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, the older the better, because they would get so ticked off so quickly. But I did that like 3 times. I did it like 3 times to Rob Zombie, and then he kind of looked over. I was just like, man, I was sorry. I said, I apologize, dude. Huge fan. He's like, hey, man, no worries, dude. I said, if I get a shirt, will you sign it? He's like, heck yeah. So I got one of the 73rd Sturgis Buffalo Chip Rob Zombie shirts with the werewolf and the chick on the motorcycle on the back. So I got that shirt. Anyway, long story short, is met Rob Zombie. And then when he came out and played, he was walking around the pit on a 2x4. And he fell down, and I caught him with one hand. but seriously, Rob Zombie only weighs. It was a little gay, but I caught because I grabbed his ass because that was the first thing that he felt. It was either that or, and I just sort of shoved him back up. But there's a guy with a picture of me with Rob Zombie's ass in my hand somewhere.
Oh, you're fisting him, Jesus! Oh man, yeah. Sorry.
But he's honestly about like 5'3". He's a tiny guy, and I'm like 6'2", 6'3". So
yeah,
I just kind of grabbed him and pushed him back up there. It's like, get back up there, keep rocking, brother.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome.
What about
man.
you guys? Favorite? You got a favorite like dark movie?
Yeah, my favorite horror film. I mean, a horror film. Halloween. The original Halloween.
The original. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. That's up there.
One of my favorites.
For me, it would be Alien.
I don't really consider that a horror movie. That's not even.
Oh, it totally is.
No,
totally is a horror movie.
No, you guys are.
No, it's a horror film.
It's a monster movie. It's a horror monster movie in space.
That's like saying Return of the Jedi. Man.
No. Well, there's difference. There's difference though. In Return of the Jedi, you're not in a close corridor spaceship with a monster, with a creature trying to kill you. Return of the Jedi, they're doing like Force and Jedi magic and all that stuff.
I got that, but it's still almost like saying what's your favorite horror movie, and then you saying Predator.
Predator. Actually, one guest actually did mention Predator, and she kind of had a pretty good argument for it.
What is it? She would be absolutely wrong. I mean, never actually swipe that one off the list.
The horror part isn't the beginning. The beginning part's all action, right? All action, badass. But the horror part is the hunt. Because that's the part of the movie where you have this badass, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger shows he's a badass, but all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, he's facing off head to head.
The story turns completely. Yeah.
Okay, I got one for you. I'm gonna throw a throwback. Let's see how old you guys are.
Oh.
Let's see. Did you guys ever watch Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes? The circus.
Oh man,
HBO.
I-
HBO with, and I tell you what, that
no,
had some.
I don't think so.
There was some, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to go back one further. And if we're going horror movies, I still think I don't think it's a horror movie per se, but I think it visually is one of the most disturbing movies, as well as one of the best performances by Hopkins was The Elephant Man, Anthony Hopkins in The Elephant Man. I thought The Elephant Man was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Like that.
I've probably seen it before, but I don't. It's been.
Oh yeah, the Elephant Man's fantastic.
Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. I mean, and because
it's just the whole thing's just creepy as hell.
It's so Sunday afternoon quiet, weird, like movie to watch. And then Anthony Hopkins is like one of the greatest actors probably ever on the planet. I think you got like 4 other people out there that can compare. I think Brad Pitt's one. I think DiCaprio's one, but Hopkins was the generation prior. He was that good.
Gary Oldman.
Oldman's another one. Yeah, man. I mean, but like Anthony Hopkins, absolutely one of the best orators. Because I think part of acting is having a voice, right? You have to have that recognized. Like Samuel L. Jackson has a recognizable voice. And it's just one of the things.
Presence, yeah.
And I think Hopkins, man, in that if you think about how old Hopkins is in that movie, I think he's in his 20s, and he's just the movie is just perfect in every way. I'm kind of an old critic when it comes to that kind of stuff, but there's a couple other ones that gave me the true heebie-jeebies back in the day. I mean, Poltergeist was a true horror movie in the 80s.
Yeah,
you know, that was a good one. What other ones did people talk about that were awesome?
Oh man, so many.
Yeah,
what you guess?
All over the place. The Notebook. That's one of my scariest movies.
Now come on.
The Shining usually comes up. Usually the go-to is going to be like The Shining or The Exorcist. Yeah. Someone mentioned Saw before. You know, just about every guest. That's the question I ask. I try to get that, and it's 2 consistent questions on the show: is who are you, what do you do, and ends with what's your favorite horror movie, whatever.
Man, Ryan Gosling loved that chick though, and daggone, he ended up marrying her after The Notebook, right?
I think so. But who wouldn't?
He did.
Who wouldn't?
She had the Notebook power over him, and it was just like, we did this, we might as well. Yeah, but those are the normal ones, right? Friday 13th, Shining, that kind of stuff. What was the one with the box, Pinhead, and all those
Hellraiser?
I never got in.
Hellraiser.
I never got into that. Never got into that stuff.
There's the movies didn't really do too well. There's a lot of fans for it. There's a fan base, but it's man, the source material is a lot better. But okay, now we are kind of.
I'm waiting for somebody to say Rocky Horror.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
All right, so we are kind of coming to the end here.
I had a good time, guys. Thanks for letting me blabber on.
It's no problem. We got to get you back on again to get into the alien conspiracies. Didn't even touch on that. Didn't even touch on that.
How did we not do that?
A lot of people had questions about the military. A lot of people had questions related to that stuff. So
I forgot. I forgot to mention I worked at Area 51 for a portion of my time.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
No, absolutely not.
Well,
but there's some weird stuff happening out there too.
We're talking about a bunch of anime fans trying to like storm it. That's gonna be pretty weird when that happens. If it does happen,
that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch because I think they're not gonna shoot them or anything. They're just gonna use like nets.
It's gonna be a serious education for a lot of people.
They're gonna shoot them with those fishing nets, and they're just gonna lay there like, oh my god, oh my god.
And the best thing is, they could be running with that stupid Naruto run. I don't know if you know what that is. They put their arms behind their back as if like it increases their agility. I have no idea. It makes no sense.
What is that run? Is
makes
that a millennial run?
Yeah, it's a millennial
Super
run.
Fast.
It's a millennial
Super
run.
Fast.
Yeah.
It's like I'm seriously like, look, my head's in front of my body. I'm flying, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like the dog that hangs its head out the window.
Man, I worked at a psych facility for a little while, for 4 years, and there was a kid who'd run like that. He thought it increased his speed power. When he get pissed off, he was trying to like fight staff. He'd be running around like that. I'm like, dude, you look like a flat out retard. Dude, what are you doing?
Now you need to be able to tell him, like, listen, if you're gonna embrace your superpowers, and we all know you have them,
yeah,
you really need to learn how to run, because that's one of the deals. Yeah,
you know, it's why all of the Olympic runners use that, you know, that pose.
It's very strange though. It's almost like they're being guided by like a different portion of their brain, not their eyes, but they're actually being guided by their fake unicorn horn that's coming out.
That's probably what it is. Oh man,
That's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still watching, press the like button, share, subscribe. You guys take it easy. Thank you so much. Yeah.
DaveBrayUSA.com, man. DaveBrayUSA.com. Get it out there for me. Link
Oh
it
yeah.
up, okay.